this is Amy, and I am going to share with you the top 5 mistakes that people make when doing network marketing. Okay, so this is just my opinion, this is my experience, and I can tell you that I have made every one of these mistakes. And look, I was trying to put this necklace on before I started this video, and I couldn't do it, and I just did it. So, okay, I'm going to put it on now. So there we go. All right, so here we go. Here's the first one. People talk too much. Yes, you talk too much, okay? So if you really care about someone, the best thing you could do is be a good listener. I make this mistake often. I am an extrovert. I love to talk. It's my personality, but it doesn't matter. Think about when you go meet with someone, whoever talked the most typically thinks it was a great conversation, right? If you feel heard and listened to. So another thing is not just talking too much one-on-one, but talking too much on social media. I remember when I first started, we found these incredible products. We all loved it. We were blasting our Facebook news feeds as one giant ad, right? And I can't tell you how many people got annoyed with that. We didn't care. We kept going. But really, that does more harm than good. Curiosity is your friend. And so don't talk too much. Listen to the needs of other people. I actually took notes, by the way. So this is awesome. Okay. And here's the other thing. This may not be for everyone. Your product or service may not be for everyone either. So you need to listen and hear the needs and serve others. If your main intention is, how can I help this person in front of me? And I mean this either way. I don't mean, okay, so let me think about this. Sometimes people hold back, okay, because their ego is in the way, or their fear or their pride is in the way. So even though there's someone in front of them, or they know somebody who needs either the industry or the product that you have, you might need that, but they're too afraid, okay? But if you can put your pride and ego aside and share boldly anyway, and make that your number one goal, is how can I help this person? Or you can be the opposite. You can have a success goal in mind, like, okay, I just need 3 more sales. I just need this. I just need that. And you're focused, again, on you. Either way, you're focusing on yourself. But if you can put that aside, listen, not talk too much, ask lots of questions, and get to know the person and see if you have something that can offer them, okay? Too many people try to sell instead of just try to share. And that's the number one mistake, okay? So you talk too much. That's your first mistake. Second mistake is you're not authentic. Now here's the thing. Almost everyone one-on-one, you want to be authentic, right? You do. That's what holds people back, is they don't want to be a salesperson. They don't know what to do, so they hold back, but then they get all in, okay? So I'm going to tell you a story of what I mean by this. Okay, so my intentions were good, but I was not being authentic. So when I first started, I was messaging 30, 40 people a night. But I didn't want some people to think like that I only wanted a sale, but I only wanted a sale. That's truly, when I started, that's what I was doing. I was trying to build a business, right? So there was one night I was looking through my friends list, people I hadn't spoken to in years, and I messaged a friend, a girl that I had actually known like 10 years prior. Have not spoken to her in 10 years, but we were Facebook friends. We worked at a camp together and whatever. So I was like, oh, your boys are so cute. How are you? We had the best conversation. We talked for like 2 hours. Never mentioned my business, okay? Stick with me here. Never mentioned my business, but, I felt really good about that conversation. I thought, yeah, this is awesome. But you know what? The next day, or maybe 2 days later, whatever, I messaged her again. I'm like, hey, by the way, I started this business and blah, 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 blah. And you know what she said? Oh, now I see. She's like, I thought it was weird that you messaged me out of nowhere. Now I see you just wanted my business. Oh, here's the thing. She was right. That is what I wanted. Now, I do care about it, and I love connecting with people. I do. But if I were just to be upfront, now I learned a lesson that day. Now I tell people exactly what I want in the beginning, and then I really work on a relationship, because you do need to care about people. So now I say, hey, I'm looking for some people to do this business with me, or I just started taking these wellness products. Would this be something you're interested in? Again, we don't bug people, but we at least ask and be upfront, and that's what I mean by being authentic, okay? Then if they say no, no worries, we don't bother them, but we can, in that case, I could say, hey, no worries, how are your boys doing, by the way? And then we can have a heart-to-heart conversation and build a relationship, and over time, you know what, she'll ask me if she's interested. Or sometimes I get to know people, and sometimes I do. I want to, and this isn't for everyone, and it's a lot of work sometimes to pour into people, and so you want to make sure it's the right person. So sometimes I do get to know people a little bit before I, say, but again, when I realize it, hey, you know what? You are so friendly. I really think, would you be interested in learning a little bit more about the business I do? I think you'd be great at it. Be authentic. And I don't think people do that out of a mean heart. I don't think anyone's sitting there like, oh, how can I trick them? It's lack of training. That's all it is. This is different. We're not sure how to go about it. So that is a second mistake, is not being authentic. Okay? Even if you intend to. So here's the third thing. I think this is a huge one. I still struggle. Okay, it's keep it simple. Here's the thing. You cannot have a successful business if you are people dependent. You need to be system dependent, because there's only one of me and I have a team of 3,000 people. And honestly, there are people in my company who have teams of 500,000 people. Yes, it's true. I met someone. Anyway, it's craziness. That's amazing. Okay. But anyway, regardless if you have 4 people on your team or 400,000 on your team, it doesn't matter. There's just one of you, and you will be exhausted. And if you're doing this and it's taking 24/7 all the time, draining you, well, then what's the point of that, So you need to keep it simple. Okay. And by that, I said this a minute ago, but you need to, what did I say? Make it simple. I had a really good thought. Oh, not try to sell, okay? Stop talking too much. Stop trying to sell. When I say keep it simple, you invite, okay? You invite. Now, our particular team, we have a really easy system. Our company has an easy system. We just boom, boom, boom. But you need to, if your company doesn't have one, you need to develop an easy system, whether you are someone I brought into the business or whether someone 10 people down the line brought you in. Everyone should know what to do if they want it, and it should be easy and simple. It actually takes a genius to make it simple. Anyone can complicate things. I know. Yes, anybody can complicate things. But if you can keep it simple, and literally, here's what we do. We invite people and we share a tool. That's it. I don't try to sell anyone. I invite them to learn more. If they want to learn more, I share a tool. And if they want it, they go for it. Simple. If you can do it simple, if you can read, you should be able to do this. But too many people they try to recreate the wheel, and they come up with all these things, including myself, and just stick with the system and you'll be great, okay? So keep it simple, and by that I mean have an easy system. Okay, the fourth thing is people do not do what we like to call income producing activities, okay? This is what I mean by that. Okay, watching this video right now is awesome. Thank you, 5 viewers. But this is not an income producing activity. Now you might learn something, and when you do the income producing activity, you'll apply it. That's great. But by income producing activity, that means you get customers or you find people who want to get customers. Okay, that's what I mean by that. So people, let's see. Okay, so listening to trainings, going events, all those things are important, but sometimes I'll have someone in my personal business and they'll say, I just can't get anybody. Why are we doing this? We have an accountability group, and ladies, I'm sorry if you're listening to this, but sometimes, there'll be someone, oh, I've got this many customers, this many people, and it's a high number. Well, okay, it's because they reached out to a lot more people, whereas so-and-so will be like, I asked 3 people and nobody's interested, and so I don't think it's for me. Sorry, that's not gonna cut it. You have to do the work, and you have to reach out to people. I remember at one of our company conventions, all the top people in the company, the first 3 ranks of the company, they get to sit on the floor and they're treated like gold, and it's wonderful. And I remember someone saying the only difference between the people here down on the floor and then all the people in the stadium is they talked to more people and they were told no more. That's it. So income producing activity is the inviting people and the sharing of the tools. That is what I mean. Scrolling through Facebook, organizing your desk, writing in your planner, watching trainings, those are great, but that is not an income producing activity. The more people you reach out to, that's what it works. I remember one time, funny story real quick, I was doing this challenge in one of my teams, and the goal was to get 100 people to say no to you. Okay, that was your goal. That was awesome. It took off the pressure. It was fun too, and I like challenges. I like fun. So I was gonna complete this challenge, but here's the thing: if somebody ignores you, which happens very often, I would so much rather someone be like, no, leave me alone, than to completely ignore me. I get it. People don't know what to say. They don't want to be rude, but whatever. People ignore you. That didn't count. They had to outright say no. So the goal was for the 1 week to get 100 people to say no. I should do that challenge again because that was fun. So I was like, the end of the week, I was at a birthday party and I was at Chuck E. Cheese, and I just was gonna finish this challenge, and I think I needed 5 more no's because I worked hard. Now, how many people do you think you have to talk to in order to get 100 to say no? Well, more than 100, a lot. And guess what? Many people end up saying yes. But I went up to this girl, total stranger, just because. Now, I'm not saying to do this. This was just my silly contest. But I said, I work from home and I'm in a network marketing business. Do you want to join my network marketing business? No, I'm not saying to do that. But she was like, yeah, I would like more information on that. I was like, what? You do? Okay, that was crazy. But I was just trying to get her to say no. And in fact, she ended up saying yes, which was so crazy. It doesn't always happen like that. I don't suggest that, telling people like that. I suggest inviting people, being upfront, inviting people, and sending a tool. And by a tool, I mean a video, invite them to an event, invite them to talk to someone who's done it, share stories. That's what I mean by a tool. Okay, and then the last thing, the reason why most people fail in network marketing, the difference between some people succeeding and people failing, is they give up way too soon. You give up way too soon, so typically this is what happens, okay? So I see Celeste. Hi, Celeste. Celeste is on here, so Celeste, I don't know that you're in here or not. But let's pretend Celeste just joined and she's excited. She heard my story and she's like, yes, I'm gonna do this. And then so she goes home and she sees Hannah, who's her sister, and her mom, and she's like, oh my goodness, you guys, I'm gonna join this company. It's called Plexus. It's amazing. Their miracles are happening everywhere, and this lady's a millionaire, and this is amazing, and we're all gonna do it. And then somebody says, now, first of all, she talked too much. She doesn't even know what she's talking about yet, but she talked too much. And what happens is Hannah's like, no, listen, you're in a scam. Those products don't work. My uncle, took a sip of the pink drink and he's in the hospital. It's not true, but just whatever. They hear all these negative thoughts. She talks to 4 people without having any idea what she's saying or doing. And then I never hear from her again. She was so excited, but I never hear from her again because somebody spoke negativity into her because she didn't know what she was doing. She did not follow a system. She, she's probably authentic because she genuinely was excited, but she talked too much. And then she quits. Or then what happens is Celeste, let's say, I think I saw Melanie on here. Melanie joins. Okay, now Melanie's excited and she's like, oh, Celeste, I'm going to do this thing. It's so exciting. And Celeste is like, no, girl, don't do it. No, I tried it. It didn't work for me. I failed miserably. Don't do it. It's horrible. And then I never hear from Melanie again. Okay, why are you listening to somebody that didn't have success? Unless you want to adopt their lifestyle, those are not the people that you take advice from. I'm just saying. Do you know how many people told me, oh, I tried, I failed, oh, I did this, I wasn't good at selling, oh, this, oh, that. I didn't care about those. I cared about my friend who said she paid her mortgage. That is the person that I was listening to because I didn't care who failed. I mean, I felt bad for them and all, but that wasn't going to be my story. I'm listening to those who succeeded. I want to follow those who succeeded, not those who failed. And the reason they failed is because they were making some of these mistakes. Just like when you go to school to be a teacher, a doctor, a lawyer, whatever you're going to do, your first day on the job, the first few days it can be hard. There's that learning curve. You have to pour into your education. You have to learn how and not give up. Okay, I'm going to tell you one quick story and then I'm going to go. I almost gave up. I almost gave up. I really did. So I started in, let's say, the very end of February, beginning of March. It was like February 28th. And that's when I started. I did really well in the beginning. Again, I did make these mistakes. However, I did reach out to tons and tons of people, and I did pretty well. So I reached a status, which is like there's 8 levels of ranks or whatever, and I reached the 2nd level pretty quickly. And that was pretty good. So I was excited. So I had a team of maybe like 25 people at this point. Now it's July. I think I had like 25, maybe 30 people on my team. And I thought I was doing good. And somebody called me and was really mean to me. Like, absolutely mean. Now, I, even to this day, I don't think it was my fault. It was, but whatever. The person took it out on me. And then, in that same week, this was after 3 different people had called me and said they weren't having the success that they wanted to have. And so I had 3 people tell me something negative, and then this person called and they were just super mean, like really hurt my feelings, mean, attacking my character, just not a friendly conversation. I was devastated. I was absolutely devastated, okay? And so I called my husband and I said, I'm sorry, I can't do this anymore. It's not for me. No one is having success. Now, 30 people were having success. 3 people told me they weren't, but whatever, you know how you do that. No one's having success, blah, 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 blah. I can't do it anymore. He's like, well, all right, hon, well, you did a good job. Good trying. Okay. So then I texted, because I didn't want to call, because I was embarrassed, my 2 friends that I had joined, and one of them called me, and she was like, tell me what's going on. And I was like, whoa, so-and-so is mean to me, and these people didn't have success, and blah, 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 blah. And I just, that was it. Well, she was like, well, are you having success? I'm like, well, yeah, I don't have this anymore and that. And then she's like, is there anyone else that you know that is having success? Yes, da-da-da. And she's like, first of all, she's like, you need to learn about gut health. Because I didn't know about gut health. I thought it was just weight loss. She's like, you need to learn about this. She shared a video. She didn't try to convince me or anything. She just listened to me genuinely. And then she shared a tool with me. She's like, I want you to hear and see what our products really do. And she told me a story about a girl on her team who, I'm not allowed to say what she had, but like where she was in bed for 3 years and could barely get up and move. And after getting her gut health back in order, she was able to sit at the breakfast table one morning. And she said she sat there and her kids were staring at her. And she was like, what? And they're like, you haven't had breakfast with us in like 3 years. And then she just started crying. And when you hear that story, it touches your heart. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like if I quit, I mean, how can I do that? So I listened and I started researching, and you know what? I had 6 more customers by the end of that week because my belief grew again. And not only that, I reached the next level just a month later, and then in less than 2 years, I reached one of the top ranks and completely changed the financial future of my family. But not only that, you know what that rank really means? It's not just a financial blessing. It represents literally thousands of lives that are touched and changed. Like, that just blows my mind. There are people that are in my network that I don't even know their story yet. I heard a new one yesterday. Yesterday somebody called me and she was like, I need to tell you what this is doing for me. And she's been with us since January and I didn't even know it. So you start a ripple effect. So you can do it. Thank God I didn't give up. Thank you, Lord. Thank you for my friend who poured life into me. Don't give up. Because the truth is, I made all of these mistakes and I still talk way too much. I still complicate things a little bit more. I got my system, but I still get myself in the way. And you know what? But I didn't give up, and that's why I am where I am. That is the most important thing. If something's not working, try something new and figure it out. I'm telling you, invest in your education, and this can be the most phenomenal blessing for you and your family if it's done the right way. Okay, so that's all I wanted to share with you guys today. Thank you for listening, and let me know what mistakes you've made. Like if you're in this industry, or maybe you're not. I've made mistakes as a teacher. What are some mistakes that you've made that you've learned from that you can help others? I would love to hear that from you, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.